Welcome back to See Today Business. As you know, we live in Indonesia, which is an archipelagic country, meaning that many people in the country are heavily reliant on air transport to get to and from where they'd like to go. Now, part of that industry is the ground handling business, where colleagues, or where workers, I should say, speak directly to consumers, as well as provide supplies to the airplanes on which they will board. Now, one particular company has entered the Indonesian market, namely Çelebi Aviation from Turkey. And to know more about this company, we are now currently speaking to Dave Dorner, the Group CEO of Çelebi Aviation. Mr. Dorner, thank you so much for coming over to come to talk to us, I should say, from See Today regarding this new venture in Indonesia. First of all, why did you choose to invest in Indonesia? And from your perspective, what potential does the country have in its commercial aviation industry in the future?
Well, thank you very much for having me. I think we're very excited about the entry into Indonesia. To come to your question, obviously Indonesia, fourth largest population globally, one of the largest economy in Southeast Asia, obviously both growing and evolving. I think we see ourselves as an emerging market leader in our sector. So it fits our profile of where we want to be. High growth, evolving market where we think we can add value to the whole ecosystem. So I think fundamentally it's that exact profile that we were looking for. We had a great opportunity in PTN, we thought, which is an existing company with a long history here in Indonesia, that we thought we could bring our skills together with the people that are here to really make an impact.
Right. And you mentioned PTN, which is Pratita Titian Nusantara, which is the company that you've acquired, the Indonesian aviation services company that you've acquired. Can you tell us a little bit more about the rationale behind this decision, and specifically why you chose Pratita Titian Nusantara, or PTN, to begin your operations in the country?
I think fundamentally you usually face a choice when you're coming into a market, and in different markets we've come in different ways. But you can either try to start in a greenfield operation, so starting from scratch and build it from zero, or you can try to obviously partner or acquire someone that's already in the business. In a place like Indonesia, where there's many airports, many cities, and as you said, it's an archipelago, and there's many people strung in different places. You want to try to have a presence in multiple locations so that you can serve the customers better. And when I say customers, I mean primarily the airlines, which are primary customers. And so if you start from scratch, it's often hard to serve people in multiple, or serve the airlines in multiple locations. So acquisition was something that we thought might make more sense.
So you specifically acquired PTN, 100% of it, or only part of it?
We acquired 100% of PTN. We've, as I mentioned in our earlier press conference, we've committed to invest about 7.5 million euros so far, but that's just the starting point, and so we'll be investing, I think, quite heavily behind that. To give you just I'm not saying the same, but a benchmark, in India over the last 15 years, we've invested several hundred million euros or dollars into equipment, people, training, facilities, and so we see this initial commitment as just the very first step in a long investment and a long, hopefully fruitful endeavor.
Now, for some of our viewers, PTN can be found in airports such as Soekarno-Hatta Terminal 1 and Terminal 2, as well as other airports that provide services to several low-cost domestic and regional carriers as well. Now, my question to you is, sir, what changes do you plan to make to the operations of the services, and how will these impact the customers, particularly not only the airlines, but also the people that are going to be boarding those airlines as well?
Okay. Well, I think the very first thing that you have to know about, and I'm sure you do know about aviation, is safety is paramount. Right. So it's a very safety conscious environment. The first and foremost, we have to make sure that we maintain and even improve the safety of all of those operations. Then we can start to think about the quality and the efficiency of the operation. So I think if we can do it very efficiently, we can do it cost efficiently, and that allows airlines to have a lower cost profile, lower ticket prices, more people traveling, and that's been the story, I think, of aviation over the last 100 years. It has gone from being a very niche thing that very few people could be affording to a much broader marketplace with many, many, many people being able to afford to fly. And we hope that's going to be true more in the future for more and more Indonesians, and of course for more people coming to Indonesia from abroad.
Hopefully creating better connectivity between the islands as well, surely. And you mentioned earlier that one of the locations or one of the countries that you've operated in India, for 15 years you've invested around 100 million euros, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, about 250 million.
Oh, right, okay, 250 million. So obviously Indonesia is quite different from India. So how long do you think it will take for the changes that you've mentioned earlier to be fully implemented? And perhaps can you provide us with an estimation on your future potential capital expenditure for these changes?
Well, I think of this as a process. So I think first and foremost, very, very quickly, we have to make sure that we're very confident on our safety and quality. And I have a great amount of, let's say, trust and respect on what's already existing in PTN. So I have no fear that we'll be confident there. But in terms of the journey forward and the time scale going forward, I don't think of it as having a definitive end or a definitive, let's say, time scale in that sense. I think we'll be investing in the initial phase between upward of between 20 and 50 million over the next couple of years to improve both our technical capability and our people and our procedures, so that we can serve not only the domestic customers that we're serving today more fully. So I think we have a long way to go to be more fully serving those customers, but also more international customers, so foreign carriers, as I think the tourism and the connectivity between domestic destinations, but also international destinations grows. I think we want to be ready for that growth and help facilitate that growth. So I would say in the first phase, between 20 and 50.
Okay. While we're on the subject of international travelers as well, the world in the aviation industry has passed the COVID pandemic era, thankfully. How do you see the state and recovery of this industry so far, and how do you see it continue to recover in the future?
Obviously, as you well know, again, different geographies came out of, let's say, lockdowns and restrictions on travel at different times. China and Southeast Asia, I think, was impacted a little bit. There was a little bit of delay of bringing it back, but I think we're coming back to full speed, and I think we'll see a bright future of growth as it goes forward. Just to mention, and maybe going back to one of your earlier questions, forecasts and predictions are for Indonesia over the next couple of decades to become the fourth largest aviation market, and as one of my colleagues mentioned, maybe third, but maybe fourth, and that's a huge growth trajectory. So I think it's very important that we come off this history of COVID and move towards that, preparing ourselves for that growth trajectory.
Okay, so what about outside of Indonesia? Do you have any future plans for expansion into other countries as well?
I think we continue to look for great opportunities. I think we're very interested in the region. Obviously, I don't have anything to announce today, but I think we also have to digest. And I think it's important that to use the analogy, I don't think we want to put more on our plate than we can eat and digest. We're very focused on our Indonesian entry and making that a success. We do continue to look in the region, and I think we'll see some opportunities. And if we see a good opportunity, of course, we're ready to take it.
Certainly. Dave Dorner, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat with us from the seat today. Best of luck with this new venture in Indonesia, and certainly best of luck with your future plans for the company as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And that was our conversation with Dave Dorner, the Group CEO of Çelebi Aviation. Certainly a very insightful conversation about how ground handling services might look in the future for Indonesia. But don't worry, See Today Business will be back after the break, so stay tuned only on See Today.